Hello, welcome back to Pao Talks. I'm your host, Pao. I hope you guys had a good week. It's been a minute since I've seen y'all. And today is Veterans Day. So hopefully you guys had a good Veterans Day. Shout out to all of our veterans here in the US and well to all veterans in general. Um, we're definitely thankful for your strength and our freedom. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm gonna start off with my week because it's been a week before we go into veterans. Um, let's see. So this past week, I decided to go shopping, and I normally shop online. I do quite a bit of online shopping, but this week I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to go to the mall. And I don't know if y'all been to the mall, but it's been a minute since I've been to the mall. Um, and it was dead. The mall was dead, and it just kind of made me sad because I used to love going to the mall. I used to love trying on clothes, and there's just something about trying on clothes, and just running into people and kicking it at the mall. And we weren't. I was not feeling it. At least not this week. I was not feeling it, and I did buy what I needed, but I don't know. It was just sad that it was dead because I have a lot of cool memories growing up of just going to the mall and cutting up. And I feel like they're starting to definitely disappear. It's just not the same. Everything's online. And I kind of hate it because if something doesn't fit or something's not right, you got to return it. It's a hassle. It really is a hassle. And I personally I don't have time to sit there and return all this crap. But yeah, so in honor of Veterans Day, I figured I can share some interesting facts before we get into it. Um, I don't know if y'all know this, but um, let's see, 60% of veterans are under the age of 34. I did not know that. These youngsters, thank you for your sacrifice. Yeah, I didn't know that. And then 30% of veterans that we have, 30% of veterans, they have disabilities resulting from their service. And then also, let's see, did you guys know that 31 of 44 presidents actually served in the military? Isn't that cool? I mean, we probably won't see that today because, some of our presidents are a little out of shape, coming from other countries, whatnot. But yeah, so yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting to kind of look into that. I went to a Veterans Day program today. It was really special to see them and thank them for their service. And I definitely feel we should appreciate them more, not just like in our country, just in all countries that do give a part of their lives to service, because I know I wouldn't have it in me to join. No, there's just no way. And a lot of them don't join because of due to financial reasons. They actually join because they really want to be a part of the military. So I thought that was really interesting. Um, but that being said, like 2 weeks ago, because I knew Veterans Day was coming, so I like to, like, whenever I'm feeling like angry or something, not angry, that sounds bad, but whenever I'm in my feelings, I like to watch military action movies. And so I did like a full 2 days of binging military movies. Like, I'm not gonna lie, from like 8 o'clock in the morning till like 12 o'clock at night, I was like watching back to back. And some of them were old school classics, like, Pearl Harbor, which is a forever long movie, but such a good movie. Um, but yeah, it made me think about that. So I figured, in our first segment, because I do love watching movies, we can go into some of the top 5 movies that I watched recently that I feel people should definitely watch if you haven't seen. And I figure I can tell you guys a little bit about them. Um, and they're just like a little bit of everything, nothing specific, and in no specific order of favoritism whatsoever. But so the first one I'm going to talk about is Unbroken. So Unbroken is actually based on a true story. It's the life of Louis Zamperini. And oh my God, what a journey. What a life journey. And this one's particular, it was interesting because he was an Olympic runner. And he joined the military during World War II. And while he was in service, his plane crashes. And he survives the plane crash. And then on top of that, he spends like 41 days at sea after surviving the plane crash. And then they ended up rescuing him, but of course the people that rescue him or capture him is the Japanese military. So he becomes a prisoner of war. And I mean, his resilience, I mean, tearjerker for sure, but talk about resilient and just staying strong. And it's unbelievable that someone can survive all of that. It just shows that like he was meant to be here and tell his story. I thought it was fascinating. It was a true story. I mean, damn, I thought I survived some stuff. No, homeboy was meant to be here. But yeah, he did suffer with PTSD, as do most. He suffered with PTSD and alcoholism, which he was able to persevere that as well. And due to everything that he survived, and so it was a beautiful story. What a full life story. I can't imagine his mother. But so the next one, it's called The Forgotten Battle. Okay, this one's also inspired by true events during World War II. And let me tell you, the movie depicts such historical accuracy and gives you an insight of what the brutal conditions of war was at the time. And it basically follows these three main characters. One is a British glider pilot. Another one is a Dutch-born German soldier, and then a civilian Dutch girl. And it's crazy how their life intertwines and how somehow they all at some point meet each other and help each other to survive this battle that they're trying to show you, which was very important, very, very important during the World War II. And it's crazy to, for some reason, like, I like watching American military movies, but I also like watching World War movies because you get to see what happened on the other side and what those experiences were like. But definitely, that's a good one. It's a long movie, but it's a good one. And I was very impressed of like the cinematography, just how they did the battles and just how they showed almost like out in the field, like the brutality of war. It's insane, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And then one of my, so my next one is going to be The Hurt Locker. The Hurt Locker, this movie almost reminds me of like the same director that did Jarhead, but this one for some reason just like pulled my attention a little bit better. So The Hurt Locker is, I don't know if y'all, it's an American war action thriller. It's not true events, but this really does happen out in the field. So basically starring Jeremy Renner and Anthony Mackie, two amazing actors. I feel like they should do more military movies because they did a really great job. And basically it follows an Iraq war explosive ordnance disposal team, and they work as a team and they get called out to basically, if someone detects or thinks there's a bomb in a place, they go and disarm it. And Jeremy Renner is the one that really goes into like those bombs and like deactivates them or disarms them. But I'm just thinking like, man, that is like one of the worst jobs that you can have in the military, because you just don't know if you're going to make it out alive every time they call you out. Like, you must be really good at disarming these bombs. But I would hate to wake up every day in service and my job was to go disarm these bombs. And I was just like, man, they definitely show you how it messes with their psychological like way of thinking, because they just don't know when is their last day. And then at the same time, they are being targeted in the movie while they're in service out there, and you get to see, you know, the brutality of how these people um, uh, during war use children, and they just don't care. They just don't care, and it's so sad. But it's really cool to see that kind of job, um, and what they go through on a day-to-day basis. You just don't know when their last day is. And I didn't realize they had all this gear either, and how they go about things. Um, but yeah, shout out to those guys. I would not want that job. I don't even know how you even get that job. Like, oh, I'm good at disarming bombs. Throw me out in the field and I'll go disarm them. But it was, oh, it really pulled at my heart. I felt really bad for them. Um, so my next movie, it's an older movie, but I hadn't watched it in a long time, and it's called Behind Enemy Lines, and is starring, the lead role is Owen Wilson. And I know we are not normally used to seeing Owen Wilson in these type of roles, because normally he does like weird comedies or like love movies, but this I feel like he should have stuck with. He should have stuck with, because he did a great job. He did a great job, and it's basically an American action war film, and he plays an American naval flight officer, and he gets shot down while he's flying over Bosnia. And obviously he's trying to survive and trying to get a team out there to help him so they can rescue him. But in the process of being shot down, he ends up uncovering a genocide during the Bosnian War. And not only does he have to survive until his team rescues him, but he also has to get evidence of this back to whoever he needs to get it to, so they can help these people out. So it's very fast moving. It's sad because, like I said, you get to see things that you think are not happening across the world, and they're happening. They're happening. And it's just disturbing, some of those things that happen to women and children and men. And war is just so overwhelmingly, like, just, I always feel like it's unnecessary. You know, that's just my opinion. I feel like there has to be a better way. Has to be a better way, but it's been going on for so long that I feel like it's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. But yeah, I really enjoyed seeing him in this role, and I feel like it's one of those movies that you're like, it's probably going to be that good, but it's actually really good. And like, it kept me awake. And like I said, I wish he would have stuck to some of these roles, man. He would have done a great. They have a lot of cool military movies that came out after this movie that I think he would have been great for. But I don't know. It was a really cool experience. I definitely recommend that one. It's one of my favorites. And then the last one that I've seen, it's called 12 Strong. And honestly, the reason why I geared towards it, because Chris Hemsworth was in it. And he does a lot of cool, like, military action movies, like Extraction and stuff like that. But this one I was like, okay, let's see what this is all about. So this one caught my attention too, because it's him and Michael Pena and Michael Shannon, and they're great in military movies too. So I was like, ooh, I like this team. And so I kind of gravitated towards the actors in it. But again, it's supposedly, okay, like a group of U.S. Army Special Forces that get sent to Afghanistan immediately after 9/11. And they're like one of the first guys on the ground right after it happens. And they join forces with some leader out there that's basically trying to take down Mazar-e-Sharif. I think that's what his name is. And they show you their day-to-day, I guess, like what their coup was, of how they were going to go about it. And again, good action scenes, good military scenes. I mean, you know, like, after seeing so many military movies, I feel like you have your classic old school, like, what's it called? Braveheart, like those movies. And then you have like Spartan, like the 300, those kind of military movies. And then you have like more like the World War II, World War I movies. And I feel like those are more gory because like I feel the weapons that they were using at those times, they're just more disastrous on the bodies and the bombs and all that. Now with the type of war that we have, I feel like the weapons that they use, everything's more like quick, like their death is quicker. Almost like the guns that they decide to use or how they go about their missions, it's a little bit more swift. They're not as gory and bloody the way they depict those other time war movies. But you definitely get to see but almost like an up close, almost like you're out there in the desert with them, like, and I kind of like that because you get to see a whole side of, very, very up close scenes, like down to like them sweating, down to like, it's the little things that I feel like that they're capturing, almost like you're there. And then last but not least, this movie kind of left me uneasy. Now I feel like this movie is one of those movies that's like kind of leaves you hanging at the end. It's called, oh my gosh, what's it called? Crap, I just went blank. Oh, The House of Dynamite. The House of Dynamite. Okay, so this one kind of made me upset because it's almost military, but it's basically we're getting a nuclear bomb sent over to the U.S. and we've been notified. And then they basically walk you through each room on how they handle the situation, on how they handle or what their protocol is. So you'll see it from the president's eyes, you see it from the war room, you see it from like different important people that are basically the first ones to get notified of something like this to happen and what their protocol is and what their actions are. And you get to see basically how very unimportant you are if something like this was to happen. And you don't realize how so many decisions are being made before we even know. So you're anticipating this nuclear bomb the whole time, right? Like 2 hours. You're anticipating this nuclear bomb. And the whole time they're like showing you every angle possible how the country reacts, except for the civilians, okay? And then they show you who are the important people that in the event something like this was to happen, who are those people that the U.S. basically decides to take with them because they're like the top of the top that they feel like they will need if something like this was to happen. And I promise you, it's not you and I. It's not you and I. They're being taken to bunkers and there's like a protocol. And it just shows like, man, I'm like a little ant. I was like, oh, this kind of sucks. And you know what I else learned in this whole process of this movie? In the event there's a nuclear bomb being sent our way, there is a bomb that we can shoot at it to make it go away, I guess you can say. But the accuracy of this bomb, it's like 60%. Mind you, this bomb costs a lot of goddamn money. And the fact that it's a 60% chance that it might work, it's very low. It's almost like a flip of a coin. And that kind of freaking sucks because you're like, why are we relying on 60%? Like, I had so many questions. And I didn't like the fact that in this movie, they made the president look like a coward. Like, he did not know how to make a decision. He was indecisive. And I didn't like that they made him seem like he had no backbone to make a decision for our country. And I was just like pissed because it was Idris Elba and he's fine as hell. And I'm just thinking like, really? He's a man's man and y'all making him look like a punk. And I'm like, that's not cool. Like, I feel like he would make a good decision for the U.S., but no. They made him look like a punk, which I was like, I did not appreciate it. I feel like the strongest person in this whole entire movie is the lady in the war room. I forgot what the name of the room is called, but basically she's like the main contact for all these other military people to go into action, and she's the one that pretty much held it together, and she made like she accepted that she wasn't going to make it. She was like, I need to do my job until the very end, and she had to kind of just come to that decision. But she almost felt like she was the strongest person there, which was weird because normally, they make women look weak in those situations. But it was refreshing. I'll give them that. But yeah, so those were my military recommendations in honor of Veterans Day. Like I said, I love military movies. I don't like scary movies, so I will get down with military and action movies any day. I still have 2 more to watch, and I'll let y'all know how those are. And that's called 1917, and the other one's called Sandcastle. And like I said, I have a list of them. So if y'all have any recommendations of cool military movies, throw them in the comments section. I will watch them. I go crazy on some days, and I'll watch 6 movies back to back. I like it. Let's see. So yeah, that was that, and we're gonna go into my next segment of going down memory lane of when I was younger. Not really related to veterans, but it is what it is. But once upon a time, your girl here was labeled as an ungovernable child legally by the government of where I resided. An ungovernable child. Never realized what that meant until I got older, because I sure did not care at the time. I was really young. But anyhow, I was 14 going on 15, and like I said, I was a bad kid, man. I was rebellious. I really was rebellious. And in the end, I ended up in teen court. Okay, I ended up in teen court. I don't know if they have that still here or still till this day, I don't know, but I ended up in teen court, and because I was an ungovernable child, they put me in a program, for teens. And in that program, they make you take anger management, they make you take all kinds of classes with other kids that are supposedly the same. And in one of those classes, they kind of put you in a program. I don't know if they have that today, but I feel like they should. And it's basically like a scared you straight program. So one of the things that they did to scare me straight was they brought me to the state prison of Angola. Okay. So this state prison was very, it was scary because 1, I never been to prison. 2, I'm a girl. What am I doing in a male prison, right? So I remember they told us we were going, but I didn't think we were gonna go inside. I thought we were just gonna go in the visitor section and just hear a presentation. No, that's not what happened. They literally made us walk around the entire prison and talk to real prisoners. And I believe the ones that were on their best behaviors were the ones that were able to guide us through the prison and experience their day, which I'm thinking that is not safe now that I think about it now. But I remember walking through this prison, and we're asking them hey, what did you do to get here? And they're like, oh, I just killed my mom, or I killed my uncle, and that's why I'm here serving a lifetime. So another thing about this prison, this particular one, the people that I guess were on their best behavior, they got really cool jobs. They had a radio station, or they host a radio, or they were able to be a part of this rodeo that they host every year, or they were able to hold certain activities and classes for the other inmates. And I remember when we were walking into their dorms, where they would sleep, they literally, I'm just walking by, I was maybe 1 of 4 other girls. They're just rolling their cigarettes has like a little mountain of tobacco, and they're just have their papers, and they're rolling their cigarettes, just having a day. And they were telling us that what part of the program being there is they grow their own plants and they take care of their own animals. And so Angola is actually really famous because around the prison itself, they have almost like these, they're not ditches, but I guess it's like a river, but they put alligators. Yeah, they put alligators. So in case they want to run away and make it to a certain point, they're going to have to cross these rivers with these gators. And good luck making it there because it's probably not going to happen. But they're known for that too. But yeah, I got to spend a full day with them, and I got to like see where they exercise, where they shows like their kitchen and how they go about their chores, and they got to tell us a lot of their experiences growing up. And they were like talking to us like, you don't want to end up here, and I'm just thinking like, I swear to God, I did not do nothing to the extreme to be in this program of scaring me straight. Like, I was not doing drugs. I wasn't like beating up people or running away from home. I wasn't doing any of that. So I was just kind of like, if anything, it was more like traumatized, because I'm like, I don't belong with these people. Like, I'm not doing none of this stuff. Like, it was just part of the program. And I was just, oh, it was an experience because at one of the like we got to sit down and eat lunch with them. Yeah. And I remember I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I guess I didn't think about it then, because I was one of those kids that would just ask strangers things, and I was just like, oh, what did you do to get here? Like, how many years do you have left? I'm so dumb. And they're like, oh, I have like 30 years left. And I'm like, well, what did you do? And he's like, I killed my girlfriend, and I killed her son. And I was just like, I wasn't hungry no more. I was just like, why are you? I just thought it was really weird that they would scare us straight that way, and that they would let us be around them so freely, because they could have easily taken any of us and tried to like threaten to kill us. But no, they were on their best behavior. And then like there was this part where they walked us, like where they would kill people. Like, they have like the electric chair or the lethal injection. Well, they have the room where you can walk in that room where those things happen, and they make you walk in there and like go around this table and stuff, and they're like, is this where you're gonna end up, or like, this is where you want to end up? And I'm just thinking like, this is insane. Like, I'm 14. What the hell are we talking about here? And then they have like so they have a program on some of these prisoners that are on their best behavior. They are able to attend the rodeo and participate in the rodeo. And then they have like a little museum and a store, and you can see like all the arts and crafts that they create and that they can sell and participate in this rodeo. And then they also show you all the weapons that they've made throughout the years to use to kill people while in there or try to get away with stuff. And they show you all the weapons that they use. And I just meant like, man, I guess when you have the time, you get creative. You get creative, and they make the craziest weapons, because like I said, I never thought I would see something like that. And, but yeah, it definitely scared me straight, because I was like, this was nowhere near my mind of being a bad little kid. Like, I just had an attitude problem. Like, God. But maybe that's what they need to do again, because I feel like they got some bad little kids right now. They got some bad little kids. They need to be scared straight, Make them mop the floors at a prison. Let's see how that goes over with them. But it was definitely an experience. And then, of course, after the male prison, they bring you to the women's prison, The women's prison was not as traumatizing as the men. For some reason, they were more laid back. But I do remember that the energy of the women there, they almost seemed content with that life. Like, they were happier to be there than out there, like out, for some reason. So I don't really know what their backstory was, but obviously we got to hear some of their stories, and some of their stories were terrible. terrible circumstances, terrible upbringing, and it almost reminds me of like, serial killers that commit crimes. Almost like it really, they had no other, obviously they have a choice, but the circumstances led them to their choices, almost like they didn't have a chance kind of thing. So it was really sad, but that was my experience growing up when I was younger. And it definitely scared me straight. Like I said, I think you can tour Angola to this day. If you go as a visitor, like they have that museum and stuff like that, but I don't know if you want to bring your child to that, but they do have programs of that. I don't know if they still exist, but it was scary. Once again, I like to learn things the hard way. Oh, and I remember, before I move on to the next section, I remember they made us try to get onto one of the horses because they hold the rodeos, right? And supposedly, like, the horses can sense your energy. And I was like not feeling the horse whatsoever. I was like, nope, no. So everybody got on a horse, and your girl was not able to get on a horse because the horse can definitely tell I was scared. And I was just angry that I had to be there. So the horse definitely sensed it, I feel. And I did not get on the horse. So yeah, it was a weird experience, but memorable one for the books. So yeah, we're going to move on to our next segment of questions and advice. I do have a request for an advice, and I'm going to read it. And let's see. All right, so it says, if your husband of 5 to 6 years was to tell you it is fine if you choose to be a stay-at-home wife, if and when he's able to financially care for you and your baby together, would you fully accept leaving your job and not having any of your own source of income, or would you rather play it safe because you never know and keep having your own income on the side? Well, I always say it's really up to you as a couple. But if you have a career and you have support where someone in the family could take care of your child, then yeah, I would say 2 incomes is better than 1. But at the same time, now that I've lived it, I would say if you have the opportunity to be in your child's life until they go to school, until they go to pre-K, I would say do it. Do it. Because those years you can never get back. And that job can be there before, during, and after. You know what I mean? Those years you'll never get back. And they're only little ones. So if you're able to enjoy those first 4 or 5 years, do it. And then after that, because once they're in school, you can go get a part-time and bring home income. But definitely enjoy those first few years. I definitely say if you're able to, and he's able to handle things financially, girl, let that man work and enjoy your baby and make your home feel like home when he gets home. So yeah, that's what I would do. So we're moving on to a question. Do you like strawberries? I do like strawberries. I like any berry family, like anything in the berry family. I do like strawberries. I love strawberries. I love fruit. I love fruit and vegetables in general. So I think there's only one fruit I don't like, and I've tried a lot of fruits. So, but yeah, I do like strawberries. Let's see. Okay, why do I have so many daughters? Well, I know who wrote this one. I don't know. That's out of my control. That's all in God's control. So I don't know. Got lucky, I guess. Let's see. Which came first, the egg or the chicken? Well, as y'all know, I love to listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's very fact oriented. I would definitely say go listen to his explanation of who came first, the egg or the chicken. I believe the egg came first, if I'm not mistaken. Um, the egg came from a bird at some point in time, and obviously with genetic variations and very slight variations um, in every generation, it led to the chicken. So yeah, I would say the egg definitely came first. But if you want to know more about it, I would say YouTube Neil deGrasse Tyson, the egg or the chicken, and he'll go into very well detail. But personally, I would say the egg. Let's see. If your present self could go back in time to give past self an advice, what would it be? What would it be? I would say make more choices that would make you happy, not please others. Yep. I would do that. Okay, so this one's from my daughter. How do I feel about being a Mustang while stepmom? So my daughter made like a step team and she wanted to know how I feel about it. I am so proud of you. Today she put on a performance for Veterans Day and she did so good because normally she's very shy, and I'm glad that she got out of her element and she put her heart in it. So I am very proud, and I love dancing or anything related to moving. So I'm glad that she's moving in my steps. What would you tell someone who's unable to have kids, but it's their lifelong dream? How would you get them to see adoption as an option when they see themselves as a failure because they are unable to have a baby? So I've actually experienced part of this, and I've been through all these emotions. Um, I would say write down what your plan is. If you are planning on like just staying on, I just want to have a baby like in my belly, because there's so many options now with medical advancements that yes, I understand the feeling of carrying your own, but that there is other options. Doesn't necessarily has to be like you carrying the baby yourself. It could be somebody else, because you definitely don't want to put your body through something and not survive it, you know? As far as how I would get someone to see adoption, I mean, that's a discussion if you're even open to it. I think there's so many children out in the world that need families, that I think it would be a beautiful experience. And I definitely think being a mother has nothing to do with like blood, because even like my friendships today, that I feel like some of the friendships, they're almost like my sisters and we're not blood related, like we're so close. Same thing with my upbringing, it had nothing to do with biological. Oh, he's not my biological father. Like it's who you invest and give your love to, that's important. And then it makes you dive into kind of like what are your true reasons, but definitely see what your options are. I wouldn't want to convince you to adopt if you are not open to that, but I think it would be a good experience. I remember when I was going through my situation, I knew in my heart that I wanted to be a mom, whether it was me physically carrying or not. Um, and adoption was on the table for me. So that's something I've always kind of like said yes to, just because I know there's so many children out there that would love to be loved and be a part of a family. And I think that everyone should be open to that. You just never know. What if you were them, you know? What advice would you give a young college student that doesn't know what he or she wants to do with their life? Oh, okay. So I didn't go to college. I was just on my thing. I didn't feel confident going to college, not knowing exactly what I wanted. And I was like, oh, do I want this career? Do I want that? I just like so many different things. So I just took a leap of faith and I just kind of went out into the workforce. And sometimes you learn more out in the workforce than you'll ever learn in college, or you'll see careers that you didn't even think existed. I definitely think your 20s, from 18 to 26, that's your time to play and figure yourself out. Like, that's the time where you're supposed to make mistakes and try things. And there is no like perfect plan, like, oh, I finished high school, so I have to go to college. Like, that shit does not exist no more. Like, we have YouTubers that make more money than people that go to college. We have football players that make more money than doctors. Like, that plan that was instilled in us for the longest time, that's not for everyone, and it's okay. So I feel like, I know sometimes we're pressured by our moms and our dads and society. I say be fearless. You only get one life. You do not, I'm telling you, it sucks. You do not want to go to a job and wake up every day and say, oh my God, I hate this. I hate this. Like, you're torturing yourself. So no, go make mistakes. Go explore your options. If you don't like it, quit your job. Like, if it doesn't fulfill you, like, try something else. I definitely say follow your heart. Like, if your loved ones love you and your family loves you and your friends love you, they're going to support you no matter what. They're going to support you no matter what. Because at the end of the day, we all just want to be happy. And look, we have a long life. Everything costs money. And the least thing that you want is wake up every day and say, oh my God, I hate my job or I hate my career. So no, don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Don't settle. What is your advice to overcome grief? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Y'all tell me. Just kidding. I did recently lost my dad, and it's been a roller coaster. I have no advice to overcome it other than go through the waves. Go through the waves. It hasn't gotten any easier. Definitely reach out to your family and friends. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be mad. Everybody mourns and grieves differently. I've seen it in so many different angles, and it hits me at different times. Like, literally, I could be driving and out of nowhere I'll just start crying. Like, it's a flood of emotions, and it's a huge adjustment. I'm still dealing with it. I don't feel like I have great advice on that, because everyone has different way of coping with things. But definitely surround yourself with family and friends, and don't be scared to talk about them. Definitely don't be scared to talk about them. Don't be scared to remembering them. Don't be scared to, just talk about those good times and those memories, or say, you know what, I really miss this person today, or hey, I was thinking about this person today. Like, don't be scared of it. I know sometimes it's a touchy subject, but burying it does not help either. So I would say family should be more open to talk about when we lose someone. Anytime you're having a hard time, and especially during the holidays or things that y'all celebrate together, it's hard, but gotta push through it, and Those are times that you should be like, y'all, can we get together? Because it's going to be a rough one, you know? Those should be the time. Let's see. Do you have any advice you would give your younger you about relationships? Y'all are so funny. Do not settle. Don't settle for no, it's not don't settle. I would say don't compromise your values and your morals just to keep that person happy, because you will regret it. Yep, that's my advice on that. Who do you want to win on Dancing with the Stars this season? Hey. Okay, so I haven't watched every dance, but I feel like I'm very biased to oh my gosh, the Irwin kid. I forgot his name, but he's such a cutie. Oh my gosh, he reminds me so much of his dad, the Irwin kid. I like Steve Irwin's kid. Oh my gosh, definitely he's got some good dance skills, and I just feel he's just like his sister. Like he's like the world's child. Like when their dad passed away, I feel like the world took on the role of mom and dad for them, because we're just cheering them on. So like, you know, I'm definitely cheering for him. I want him to win because I feel like he should. He lost his dad, and his dad was incredible, and he was great, and we all loved him. So I feel like he should win just automatically. And he loves animals, and he's so good at what he does. And he genuinely, when I hear him speak, like, oh my gosh, bless his mom's heart. You can tell he was raised well. He has a loving heart, and he's just literally the spitting image of his dad. It's incredible. I think it's a blessing for his mom and his sister and for all of us to be able to see his dad in him. You know, it's just kind of cool. It's very, I love to see him. I follow his show on, I think it's on Disney Plus. They show his family's zoo, and I follow. I've seen him grow. So yeah, I feel like he's like the world's kid. Everyone loves him. What is one thing you can automatically say you regret in life? Oh my gosh. What do I regret in life? I regret dating at such a young age. I do. I regret dating someone older at such a young age. I will say it now and I'll say it again. I regret dating someone older at such a young age. I definitely feel now in my life that I was robbed of years, that I should have been focused on just being young and hanging out with my friends, and I did not enjoy those years as much because I was with someone that was way older than me that I should not have been dating. So yeah, I do regret that because I feel like I could have had some cool experiences as a regular kid. Yeah. So this is going to be my last question, okay? Do you have any tattoos? No, I do not have any tattoos, nor will I ever, because I'm too indecisive, and I don't know, it's just not my thing. I figured I've been on earth this long and I've got one. It's probably not going to happen. And yeah, I would not know what to pick. So probably not going to happen. And I don't know. It's just, I don't think it suits me. Like, it's not part of my personality, so that's okay. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys liked it. Please like and subscribe and follow me on my socials on Twitter and Instagram. And please, please, please submit some questions for your girl. Either submit them in the comments or send them to me via message on my Instagram, and I'll go ahead and respond to those questions for you guys next time. Or if you need advice on a situation, I'm more than happy to help you guys. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good night.